Hello, Becoming Disciplined. Recently, I tripped, and when I tripped, I fell into this wall in my garage and put this giant hole in my drywall. And I took a picture of it because I don't have a problem laughing at myself. And I asked the question, I wonder how much this is going to cost me. And of course, a lot of people jumped on me and said, how much is this going to cost you? You know how easy it is to fix that? Why don't you just fix it yourself? A bunch of fix-it men on my timeline, they came up and asked that question. But I was listening to a podcast about Will Smith, and he said something deep. He said, and I know that he's been maligned lately, but I agree with this point. The guy who helped him write the book, also the same guy who wrote the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bleep. He asked him, when was the last time you cooked a meal for yourself? And he was making the point hey, Will, you're not really normal. And Will Smith said, it's probably been around 13 years since I cooked a meal for myself. And yeah, I could play the humble game and send people home, send the chef home and cook a meal for myself with no big deal. But the problem is this. God made me really good at one or two things, and it's not cooking. I'm not a world-class cook. I can cook, but I'm not a world-class cook. And what I try to do is I hire a world-class cook to cook for me so that cook can be his best. So if I'm cooking, then I'm taking away the opportunity for the world-class cook to be what God made him to be. And then I'm cooking over here when it's not what God created me to do, and now I'm not focusing on what God made me for. And I share that because specialization of skills is discipline. Don't get me wrong, there needs to be, for my children, there needs to be an experimental time where people go and they discover what they're good at, and they discover what they're here for. And don't get me wrong, there's a period of time where we all have to have that experimentation and find out what we're good at. But once you know your calling, once you know what you're supposed to be here for, at some point you need to focus and work very hard at being focused at doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I look up to handyman. I look up to fix-it men. I think it's really cool. It's something I've never been really all that good at. I know I could fix some drywall if I had to, but it would probably take me a little bit longer than the average dude. And I'll tell you this, that's not what God put me here for. God put me here to inspire, to motivate, to warn people of what's coming. God put me here to teach, to preach, to do all of those things. He didn't put me here for drywall. So I share that with you because people will sometimes, they'll mean well, but they'll try to get you distracted off of what you're supposed to be doing. Don't let people do that to you. Once you find out what you're supposed to be doing, all that drywall and learning how to do this, learn how to do that, that's for kids. But there's a scripture that says when I was a child, I did childish things. I know what I'm supposed to be doing now. I'm almost 50 years old. Drywall ain't it. So at some point I need to stop being distracted by other people's expectations of what I need to be doing. I got the money for a fix-it man to fix my drywall. I need to spend that money so that I can focus on doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that, my friends, is discipline. Hope this helps you. What are you here for? And who's distracting you from what you are here to do? Have a good evening.